Welcome to Cozy Coven Chats with Jenny C. Bell, where we explore the journey of the witch. Hi, and welcome to another Cozy Coven Chat. I am your host, Jenny C. Bell, and this is for the week of February 22nd. Mercury goes into retrograde in Pisces on February 25th. So we are currently in what astrologers refer to as the shadow period, which can feel just like we're in Mercury retrograde. I have heard different astrologers talk about this one's going to be pretty intense. So if you haven't already done so, make sure you are backing up tech, you are updating tech, you are double, triple checking vacation and travel plans, you are double, triple checking your bank statements, like just make sure. And then whenever Mercury goes into retrograde, I just try not to send emails or texts without rereading them. I notoriously don't reread, and I often send gibberish, So it's really important to slow down and do that. Okay, our card for the week is this is our last week of February for the podcast. And we are on Arcana Folia. And this card is in the distance, and it's like an old-timey, I don't know if you, like some people don't like that word, but whatever. An old-timey telescope, and it's pointed to the moon, like a full moon, and there's these white flowers, and then it says closer than you think. So in the distance, closer than you think. So what does that mean for you? Like it could be Mercury going into retrograde. It could be the full moon is closer than we think because it is March 3rd, which is not that far away. It could be that something that you've been putting off is closer than you think, or something you've been looking forward to is closer than you think. I feel like sometimes with Mercury going into retrograde, like our plans and our like intentions can get thrown off. So like maybe you think you have more time than you do on a project is what I mean. So that can happen, like, oh, I have this deadline and oh my God, the deadline is tomorrow kind of a vibe. So really double check that. When I saw that card, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh, maybe we all need to double check our calendars or our appointments, like doctor's appointments or whatever. They might be closer than you realize. It's like, oh my gosh, I need to reschedule that or something. So think about that. Currently, just to remind you, you can still join our coven at any time. And it's going to be it's been a great February focusing on dreams. It's been kind of quiet and reflective, and so we've talked about self-love and self-care in there and nourishing. It's a safe place to land, a safe place to be you, and just a place where there's a sense of community without judgment, which is hard to find on social media. And we will be going into March. Our theme for March is emerge. And these community themes, by the way, are not mine. I asked last year, I want to say it was November, and I said, we always try to do something in our coven. So like our first full year together, we focused on a goddess a month, and that's all in the library. So every month I tried to pick goddesses that felt timely, like for that month, like there's reasons behind why I picked who I picked, and there would be information, and a lot of us celebrated Hecate's night for the first time because we focused on her in October, and then we realized about it and learned about it. Anyway, so this time I was like, let's do a theme. Let's pick a key theme that'll drive all the things I do. So it drives like the lives that we do a live and content. It'll drive questions and challenges and whatever we're talking about, maybe help focus the learning. There's a lot to learn. That's the thing with witchcraft that's been great, but hard for a lot of people is like the overwhelming amount of choice that you can make. So I asked them, I'm like, what are some themes? And there was some repeating ones. So if anybody was repeated the same ones, I made sure to pick those. And I tried to pick themes from everybody that contributed to the conversation. And then I lined them up intuitively, basically. And then have the whole plan. So we're going from dreams to emerge, because to me that made sense. It's like we dream in the winter only to emerge in the spring, because our next holiday is spring equinox or Ostara. That's all about the energetic new year. It's that, I have arrived kind of feeling. And so, yeah, that'll be what we're moving into. But back to this week, closer than you think. What do you think is closer than you think? Interesting, right? Very interesting. Continuing with, tuning into the season, definitely continue to practice nourishment and self-care. I cannot emphasize that enough. I've been talking about it on my social medias and my Substack, and it's just really, really, really necessary. It's really radical. It's a form of protest. Like if you take care of yourself when society doesn't want you to, or there's a narrative that wants to keep you down. I think a lot of witches are minorities, right? We are women, we're queer, we're of color, we're neurodivergent. And so sometimes the larger narrative, the main narrative, doesn't actually want us to survive, let alone thrive. So practicing self-care is a form of protest, I think. So if you haven't, got your seeds yet or thought about your garden, you should be doing that. I don't start seeds indoors because I have just not good luck with it. I don't have a place with lighting, like good lighting in the house. I don't have a basement where I could put like a good sun lamp. And I have cats. Like, they really like to sabotage things like that. It's like brings them great joy. So I just don't. I've tried it before. I don't have any luck with it. So a lot of times I do a lot of like wildflowers and things like that. I will just throw the seeds out there when there's snow on the ground. I'm very much a chaotic gardener, as I've talked about on here. And so my son and I will just like go out there and just bury a bunch of seeds and just whatever. It's like very willy-nilly. There's no rhyme or reason. And then things thrive or things don't. Sometimes it takes a couple years. Like it takes a couple years to see something. I'm like, oh, I planted that like 3 years ago. But those seeds finally took off when they were ready. And I just trust in the seeds. So that's my personal thing. I do buy starts from our local nursery, and those are always great for me. But the only things I usually start from seed that have success with are radishes and carrots. One year I had a really good pumpkin crop, but ever since then, I haven't been able to grow like decent pumpkins. So yeah. So if you are going to do seed starting or seedlings, you're probably doing that now. Definitely start looking into what you want to plant. And it's kind of funny, like, think of sometime in January, I asked in our coven, what plants are you planting? And then one person replied something like, wow, isn't it a little early? I was like, oh, no. People that garden, like, we think about it all year. It's like all year thought process, but because we're excited. I'm excited. Not excited about this part, but we have in the front of our garden, the way it's set up, is like a triangle. And the front of the triangle is where the mailbox is, and it's by the street. And that had 2 evergreens, and for some reason, one died. And we don't know what happened. My husband's like, it was really hollow in the middle when he took it down. We had this really intense snow. It seemed to have split it. We don't really know, but it's an opportunity. So he took it all out, and I want to plant, I think I have it down. I want to do a manzanita. And if you're not familiar with them, look them up. It means little apple. They are really pretty bushes. They can sometimes be shaped into trees. They have red bark. They have really shiny light green leaves, and they make little fruit that birds like. So I was trying to find totally an ulterior motive. I love birds, and cedar waxwings and robins come in our winter, and they're fruit eaters, especially cedar waxwings. So I was like, what kind of berry plant? So I'm down to that, or a hawthorn berry for the same reason, because I want these cedar waxwings in my yard. Look them up. They have like these crazy eyebrows. And they have beautiful little songs. They're so cute. And I don't really have any kind of berry in the yard. So I was like, I need need this for them. And then the other thing I want to do is plant some kind of dwarf fruit tree, probably a pear. Where I live, Harry and David's headquarters are here, and there's pear orchards everywhere. So pears grow really well here. We don't have a pear tree in the yard. We have an apple tree that's fighting for its life. It keeps getting nasty worms. So like last year we didn't eat any apples. And so this year I told my husband, like, I need you to cut all this. There's like all these like ivy and other greenery. I was like, I need you to cut it all away so I can get to the soil. And we're going to, I think I'm going to put diatomaceous earth, but I have to do some more research. But like this year I'm going to eat those apples. They're not great on their own. They're just kind of okay, but they make a great apples, like apple butter. Delicious. And I just love picking fruit. Goes back to going and picking apples every year with my husband and then my kids. And we pick peaches now that we live here. There's a nice like peach orchard, and they just invite people in for a couple weekends, and super cheap. We usually get peppers also. They always have bell peppers, and then they have cut your own flowers, and it's just like a great experience. It's almost always around Lunasa. So I'm looking forward to that. I will also should be hearing from my CSA soon about signing up for that. Can't wait. That was one of the best decisions I made last year. So if you've never signed up for it's community supported agriculture, if you've never been a part of something like that, look it up. This is a perfect time to look it up and see if there's one for you to join. They a lot of times will have different size boxes depending on your needs. And so like we get the large box because there's 4 of us, and I like to freeze things, and it's just such a fun experience. Farmer Patrick is the best. Love him and his partner Lee. She's amazing. I bought some of her pottery last year. I bought my husband I don't know what you call them, because I don't drink coffee. I'm a tea girl, but he's a coffee guy, and it's for drip coffee with the little filters. I don't know if there's a term for that, but I bought him the most beautiful, this green glazed pottery version of that, and she made it. So they're just like a really cool creative couple. I love supporting them. There's also a CSA for fish here, for seafood, and so I'm looking into that as well. There are like local fisher people. I wonder what's the gender neutral term? Fisher people? Fishers, I think. Tell me if you know. So anyway, I'm looking into that. So if you have never been a part of CSA, just Google it and like CSA near me and see, if anything comes up. We did one in California. That one was kind of fun because they gave us like laundry baskets. And so you would just like go in and bring your laundry basket and then just keep swapping them out. And then they would always sell like cheeses and milks. There's like a bunch of stuff to add on if you wanted to. So that's really cool. But it's such a great way to get to know your community, to put money back in your community. It's a good way to know what you can grow. So if you're like new to gardening, like what grows in your area, it's a good way to eat locally. I've heard different herbalists and foragers talk about this, but there's like phytonutrients that when you eat locally grown things, it helps you thrive where you live. It helps with allergens, especially local honey. But it just helps you in different ways. Like we have a severe smoke season here. So the plants that grow here have somehow like resisted or thrived against that. And so eating those plants in some way helps you. I don't know how much science there is to that, but it feels right. And it feels good to know, like, I can go visit this farm and to see the farmer. Like my son loves the farmer. He came and talked to his class in 4th grade, and he just like loves Farmer Patrick. Like we go and he just smiles. Like it's just so cute. It's like, it reminds me of being in like Busy Town from Richard Scarry. Like, and there's Farmer Patrick, and this is author Jenny buying produce from Farmer Patrick. I don't know. It's just storybook, and it's really, really sweet. So yeah, look into that if you haven't already done so. And even in my town, there's an herbal CSA. Like a woman that has a little herbal farm, and you can be part of that. I don't do that because I do grow and forage most of my own herbs, but I love that idea, and I support it with my spirit. Yeah, so definitely looking into that. Starting to look towards spring. It's time, no matter what it looks like outside, weather-wise. starting to look towards spring and spring plans and things like that. Okay, let's do our journal questions. So I think first of all, what do you think is closer than you think? What are you holding on to this winter? Like, what are you still holding on to? What winter energy? And because we're still in winter and we're not quite in spring, I want you to ask yourself what shadows are rising that still need to be faced. Because we really want to hit that hard in the winter, and then we will have a much better spring and summer. Anyway, take care. Blessed be. As always, thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share with a friend. And be on the lookout for my books, Spirit Crystals, Discover Your Crystal Guide for Healing and Empowerment, and Divergent Witchcraft, an inclusive approach to making magic. And if you want to connect with me more, go to jennycbell.com, JennyCbell.com, to learn about our coven, to learn how to follow me on Substack, and also how to get a reading from me. Blessed be witches.